So, welcome everyone to Hextech, the Hextech Project. Ask Me Anything or AMA. So today we are going to be starting, and today we have our guest, Lobster Monkeys, who is the team from the Hextech Project.
Yes.
So, with that in mind, can you introduce or give us just a brief description for what your project is all about and what's make it unique?
Yeah. So first of all, thank you for inviting us to the Olympians. I love what you guys are doing on the Discord, and I feel like you're doing a great job in this with reviewing all the codes and etc. That's a massive job. So thank you. And so first of all, I am Lobster Monkey. So I am the lead dev and the founder from the Hextech Project, and I will be doing this MA with you guys today. Thank you everyone for coming. And what is the Hextech project? So brief description and what it is, what makes it unique. So the Hextech project is a certificate of deposit. For those that don't know what a certificate of deposit is, in the traditional financial world, if you have a large sum of dollars, like in the United States, for example, if you want to deposit it in a bank, you can do it through a certificate of deposit to earn premium-based interest. So basically, what you do is the bank tells you, oh, if you have a large sum of money, you can come deposit it in our banks, and in exchange, if you deposit it for like a year or 2 years or 3 years, you would get like 1 or 2 or 3% APY return every year. So this is basically the concept of a certificate of deposit. You deposit a large sum of money. So basically you stake a large sum of money for a predetermined period of time. So it can be a year, 2 years, 3 years or more. And then you earn interest based on that. And if you want to take your money out early, so withdraw the money without waiting the full year or the full 2 years, you have to pay a penalty. So it's called the withdrawal penalty. And usually it's like 2-3 months interest if it's a year, and more if it's 2 years or 3 years. And basically we're doing this on the blockchain. So you will have to stake Hextech tokens for a predetermined amount of time. And then you will earn interest based on the amount of time you stake. So the longer you stake, the higher your interest is. And if you want to take your money out, to cash out, you have to pay penalties. So that's what we're doing on the blockchain. And we are coupling this with the NFT utilities, utility NFTs, where thanks to the NFTs, you will have extra power in the protocol. So if, for example, if you have one of the NFTs, so we have 7 different NFTs with 7 different abilities. If you have one of them, you will earn extra interest on the protocol. And if you have another one of them, you will earn extra referral when you refer your friends on the project. So that's basically what the Hextech project is. And it's unique because we are the first one to do a certificate of deposit coupled with utility NFTs in the history of the blockchain. And that's I feel like that's exciting.
Okay, it sounds very good and exciting. So, since this is since we usually take a project with an ohm fork
Yeah.
or similar things in here,
Mhm.
this is quite a new concept for the communities. Can you kind of elaborate a bit what a hex fork actually is,
Yeah,
so
of course.
everyone understand?
So yeah, you guys are more into home forks. That's why it's called the Olympians. And we are indeed a hex fork. So why do we call ourselves a hex fork? Because Hex was the first project that created a certificate of deposit on the blockchain. So they started 3 years ago. And since then, there's only been a few projects that tried to fork it. There's like maybe 3, 4, or 5, and we must be like the fifth one. So Hex is one of the biggest cryptocurrency there is in the blockchain market. They have over 50 million market cap right now. 50 billion, sorry, 50 billion. So it's like the fifth or the sixth in terms of market cap on the blockchain. Not a lot of people know about it because CoinMarketCap, for example, they try to hide it because they have some beef with the creator. But yeah, they are huge, and the protocol is working really well. So yeah, we are a Hex Fork, and the few differences we have between Hex and Ohm. First of all, honestly, the two protocols are pretty different. We don't earn the money the same way. So in Hex, you earn tokens through inflation and through penalties from the others cashing out. We don't have a treasury, so when you buy tokens through the merchant is the auction-based system where people can buy tokens every day. It's pretty similar to the bonds in Ohm, but what you can do when you buy through the merchant is that you can participate in a lottery and win your investment back every day. So this is a huge point that makes Hextech more interesting, I feel. And also, you can only buy tokens with ETH, WETH, and not other tokens, as in a gnome fork. And there's a lot of other differences. If other people are interested, they can ask questions about that.
Okay, so I think we're getting a glimpse of what we are talking about now.
Yeah.
So can you like help us explain a bit on like how long have you been like working on this project? Have you been working on it for long, or how
Yeah.
long is it planned for this?
Yeah, so because there's not a lot of hex fork out there compared to the number of ohm fork, I feel like it takes a little bit more time to develop the protocol. I have been the lead dev. I am the lead dev and I have been working on the project since September, end of September. So it's around four months now. So I've been developing the protocol and everything behind the scene. And the team has been put together for 2.5 months. We started working on the project together since November. Yeah.
Oh, seems like you have been working on it for a while now.
Yeah.
So
It's
that's pretty
exciting
exciting.
to launch it. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so can you let us know like how many people are in your teams, and like do you intend to bring more people to it, or like how this is the team consists, or
Yeah.
I guess you can say like organize it.
Yeah, of course. So we are 8 people in our core team. So these are the people that actively work on the project, and then including the moderators, we are around 15 or 18 actually. But yeah, we are 8 on the core team. You can go to our website. We actually just updated the website today, so we have a new version out. So it's hextech.finance if you guys want to take a look at it. And you can see the team on it. I hope. Let me check because maybe we we didn't add the team. We didn't add the team. Okay. So don't look at it because the team is not there. But yeah, we are 8 and we each have a specific role. So I am the lead dev, and then we have someone that's in charge of marketing. We have someone that's in charge of the community. We have someone that's in charge of the design. We have someone that's in charge of the artist, like the NFTs, and we are going to post a trailer very soon. So everything that's artistic and drawing, she's in charge of that. And then we have 2 other developers with me that help me on the front and help me develop the protocol. So yeah, we are 8 in total, and we plan as soon as the launch goes through. So the launch is on the 25th for the whitelist, and on the 26th, so the pre-sale. I mean, on the 26th for the public pre-sale. When the launch is done, We plan on recruiting a few more people in marketing and maybe one more dev. We already have some friends because we are all freelancers, so we all know each other. We've been working together for a long time, and that's also makes it unique because I don't think there's a lot of a project where the core team is really that close together. So we usually work together every few months. So we get together and work together. And we are going to recruit more people as soon as the launch is done because we plan on expanding and making a better marketing in the future. So we need more people to do that.
Wow, sounds good. Especially when you are the head developers talking
Yeah,
in
yeah.
here in the AMAs. If anyone have any question, you can either raise your hand or leave it in the Hextech AMA chat. So we'll pick you if you raise your hand, and we'll pick some couple question after all the question here is has been asked.
Yeah.
So so looking back at the project, uh, I think you are releasing it in Polygon, right? Right,
Yes,
Polygon.
yes, that's it.
So why this blockchain in particular, and not the other chain? Why did you choose this chain?
So that was actually a big debate amongst the team, and I talked to a lot of other developers in well-known communities to know where to launch because it's the most important part of the launch. And we decided to launch on Polygon because I know Solidity, and another option we had was to launch on Solana. And since they use Rust, it's not the same language. And I was already working on the project for a few months, and I didn't want to rewrite everything. So I had to launch on an EVM based a blockchain. So it was between basically BSC and Polygon. I couldn't launch on Ethereum because the fees are too high and it doesn't make sense to me. So it was basically between AVAX, BSC, and Polygon. And because there was already a Hex Fork on BSC, I didn't want to compete with them, even though the project failed. But I felt like being the first doing a hex fork on a blockchain would give us some publicity. So it was now then between Polygon and AVAX. And then I just think that because the fees are so low in Polygon, it's like a few cents when Polygon works. It was a superior blockchain, and also because they have OpenSea, so it's a big marketplace that everyone knows about. So yeah, these were the few things that made us go on Polygon.
Okay, nice. So Nori, do you want to take the next question? Nori, are you here?
Sure thing. Yep, I'm
Hi.
here. How's it going?
Good, and you?
Good. So curious, what's your marketing strategy going to be?
Yeah, so that's a good question, and we knew that a lot of people were going to ask that. So we actually created a marketing document a few weeks ago, uh, explaining what exactly our marketing strategy is. So I'm going to link it in the chat when the MA has ended. But basically, we are working behind the scenes with influencers and trying to get partnerships with communities on Twitter, on Reddit, on Telegram, and on Discord, because we think that these are um, the main point that needs to be done. Since having communities engaging with us and engaging with other communities bring more trustworthy investors, and also you can talk with them like through this MA. So I feel like it's more engaging and more interesting. But we are also doing, for example, ads. So on Facebook, Instagram. We are trying to do it on KuCoin right now, but because we are not doing a pre-sale, on a pink sale or DX sale, etc., they said that we had to wait until our token launched. So we will have to wait for that. But yeah, we are indeed doing what we can, and we have a big marketing budget to make sure that our marketing is the best. We are actively trying to make it the best. So yeah, I will share the document as soon as possible.
Have you considered doing partnerships with other projects on the Polygon network?
That's a good question. We actually are trying to get in touch with Polygon. They just created an ecosystem DAO where you can ask for grants. So we are trying to get the support of Polygon, and I had a call with the VP not long ago about it. Concerning projects, I feel like right now, the thing is, we only have Hextech tokens that we can give to other projects or whitelist bots, and it doesn't really always make sense to partners with other projects because we are a Hex Fork, so we are a certificate of deposit. And if you compare to like a farm, for example, having partnerships with other project with a farm really makes sense because you can like have their tokens on your farm, and so people can deposit tokens, etc. But because we are a certificate of deposit and there's only the Hextech token on our project, I feel like it makes less sense for other projects to partner with us. So we haven't really given that much thought into having partnerships with other projects on Polygon. Once the NFT collection comes out, we will look into having partnerships because then it would be more interesting for others to partner with us.
Sure, that makes sense.
Yeah.
One project we did an AMA for, and I've been following a bit, is Warp,
Mm-hmm.
and they're working, pretty hard to get projects with lots of different people. So,
Yeah.
or partnerships with lots of different projects. And I don't know the exact details of how they're partnering or anything, but it certainly has allowed them to grow their reach pretty quickly because they've gotten some big partnerships like Tomb.
Ooh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll look into it. We'll look into it if it's interesting. Thank
Sure.
you.
So what would you say kind of sets you guys apart from other forks? I mean, there's obviously cryptocurrency is,
Yeah.
there's a lot going on,
Mm-hmm.
and, especially in kind of a market downturn like we're seeing now, they want something that's unique, interesting, that has, some special sauce, so to
Yeah,
speak.
yeah. So as I said before, we are a hex fork, and there's only a few hex forks out there. So first of all, there's Hex that has created the initial protocol, and the only thing that you can really do on Hex is so deposit your money and stake it for like 5 years, for example, and then that's it. So if you want to cash out, you have to close your stake and pay huge penalties. And so people started to build on top of that. So there's, for example, Rex on BSC, the project that failed, that tried to implement new functionalities on the stake. So you could scrape your interest if you wanted to. You could split your stake. You could rename it. You could transfer it to someone else. So basically sell your stake and cash out that way. So that's what they tried to do, but they had a few exploits in their protocol, and now they're building Rex 2.0. So they built on top of the Hex on top of Hex, and I feel like they did something good. So being able to scrape your interest without having to close your bond and pay huge penalties um, was something that had to be done. So what we're basically doing is building on top of Rex. So we have the same core principle. So you will be able to scrape, you will be able to split. We also added something, a new function that is called roll. So you can roll your bond, your stake. So if you decided to create a stake for 1 year and the year ended, you can decide to not cash out and keep the bond going for another year if you want to. And as I said, we are including utility NFTs. So that's something that's never been done before. And the principle is that by buying these NFTs, you will be able, first of all, to gain new abilities on the protocol. So having more interest, having more tokens, having more referral, and things like that. So there's 7 different abilities. And then on top of that, with the NFTs, you will be able to participate in DAO. So you'll be able to vote on the protocol's future. And that's something that hasn't been done with other protocols, other hex forks. They don't have a DAO. And I feel like it's important for the investors themselves to decide what the protocol should be. And there's also a few other things. So, for example, we're going to create a black market on the protocol. When you stake your Hextech, you are given gemstones that gives you weight in the protocol, and the gemstones determine your return rate, so your interest rate. The more gemstones you have, the more interest you have. And what we're going to do, so to encourage people not to sell their Hextech and cash out their bond, they will be able to cash out their gemstones instead. So we are creating a black market, a secondary market, where people will be able to cash out without hurting the protocol. There's another hex fork that did something similar that's called Action. So instead of doing a secondary market, they created stake NFTs. So you could take your NFTs, transform it into take your stake, transform it into an NFTs, and basically split the NFTs. And if you want to, you can sell 20% of your stake to someone else and cash out that way. So we're doing the same thing, but with gemstones and not NFTs, just regular USD20 tokens. And I wanted to say one more thing about the protocol. Yeah, we're trying to build an ecosystem. So that's something that hasn't been done with Hex Fork. Basically, every Hex Fork that you can see is just a token that has no utility apart from being tradable. And I feel like that doesn't encourage people to hold on to them, apart from the fact that maybe others will come after and buy, so the price goes higher. And what we're trying to do with Hextech is build an entire ecosystem where the Hextech token will be the main currency, and you can use Hextech to do other things other than stake and bond. So basically, we will try to create a NFT marketplace and an NFT and project launchpad on the ecosystem where you can use Hextech to buy the NFTs and participate in ICOs, for example. And also, we will sponsor esport tournament and try to create at the end of 2020 what's called Hextech Banking, so a lending protocol.
That sounds very interesting.
Yeah.
You got a lot of plans.
Yeah. The roadmap is pretty big.
Roadmaps are important. There's been a
Of
few
course.
projects I've been in that didn't have a roadmap, and you're left wondering what's coming next,
Yeah, definitely.
if anything. So this next question is really important because of just the crypto space in general and all the problems we see in it. But what sort of accountability and security measures do you have with your project to help protect, everyone? And, one aspect of that is something that's, not entirely within your hands is, contract security risks too.
Yeah.
Like what happened with Grim. I mean, I think that took a lot of us by surprise because they had a lot of money.
Yeah. So that's a good question, and actually we are focusing a lot on that. If you followed us from the beginning, we talk about security a lot, and we try to make sure that our investors' funds are safe. So we have an entire part on that on the white paper. So you can go to that. It's hextech.finance/white paper. And basically, what we're doing is we have several layers of security. So the first one, of course, is that we test our code as intensely as possible. So we have unit tests, and we are doing testnet rounds as we speak. We have our second testnet round tomorrow for the pre-sale. So that's something that we're doing, and of course we are being audited by one of the greatest audit companies in the blockchain. So we're being audited by Paladin, and we passed the audit. They're just waiting for us to how do you say it, to deploy the contracts live on the mainnet, so they can publish the report. But we did pass the audit, so there's no issue with the pre-sale contracts at all, or the token contract. We've corrected the issues. We also have been KYC'd by Assuredify, so I know that's something that a lot of people are interested in, and it's just to reassure the investors that we're not trying to do anything shady. And on top of that, security during the launch, we are planning to implement multisig. It's a 2 out of 3, where basically, if people don't know what a multisig is, me as the lead dev, I won't be able to do anything to the protocol unless someone else agrees with my actions. So that's interesting because I'm not the only one that's deciding what the protocol, what functions are going to be called. And so, for example, if I want to start the pre-sale, someone else has to agree with me. So that's what the multisig is. And we're also going to implement a time lock as soon as the pre-sale has ended, because there's a few reasons. Because the Hextech tokens has something that's called a minter roll. So there's not anyone can mint tokens. I won't be able to mint tokens. Only the pre-sale contracts are going to be able to mint tokens. That's because we're launching our certificate of deposit protocol in a few months, in March, and that this protocol needs to have the minter roll. We have to keep the ownership of the Hextech token contract, and so to reassure investors, we're going to have a multisig and a time lock on the Hextech contract, Hextech token contract, to make sure that we won't be able to mint any token without the entire world being aware of it. So just to show that there's no way we're going to mint tokens, and that's not going to happen. We just need to have the option for the certificate of deposit protocol in a few months.
Have you
So
guys
yeah,
considered a larger multi-sig? 2 out of 3 means, if something happened to 2 people, you'd be locked out of the contract.
that's
I
true.
think the more common thing I see is 3 of 5 or 4 of 7.
Okay. So yeah, of course, if the community wants us to do more, we will listen.
Yeah, I mean,
No
it's
issue
not
with that.
even
Yeah.
necessarily so much from, worried about the
Mhm,
developer as it
mhm,
is,
mhm.
stuff happens, someone could get sick, someone could
Yeah,
die
that's true. That's
suddenly,
true. That's true.
and obviously that would be horrible and we don't want that to happen, but life happens.
Definitely. Yeah. So yeah, we will consider doing maybe 3 out of 5 if it's safer.
Who did your audit?
It's Paladin. Oh, maybe I didn't say it. Yeah, it's Paladin.
Okay,
Yeah.
awesome. I think everyone knows them.
Yeah, of course.
Well, I just got one more question and then
Yeah.
we'll invite some people up here to speak. Could you elaborate a little bit on your whitelist process?
Okay, so we have an entire channel on that on our Discord, basically to get whitelisted for our whitelisted pre-sale. So our whitelisted pre-sale is going to be on the 25th at 3 p.m. UTC. And when you participate in a whitelisted pre-sale, you will be able to buy a max 1,000 USDC of tokens, and the minimum of, I think it's around 50 or 40 USD dollars. And to get whitelisted, you had to either participate in Discord contests. So as a lot of projects are doing on Discord, we had an invite contest at the beginning, also with activity levels. So you had to be for example, level 3 and have 10 invites, or level 4 and 15 invites to get whitelisted. And then we also did contest on Twitter. We did whitelist with partnerships and communities and things like that. So the process is pretty straightforward compared to other projects, I feel. I don't know if that was the answer you were expecting.
No, it's great.
Yeah, okay.
You know, half of our questions are just because not everyone who joins the
Yeah, of
call
course.
has actually, you know, even been to your server necessarily.
Yeah,
So
definitely. And just to add on that, so because we are a week away from our launch and we've been doing this for 2 or 3 weeks now, we only have, I think, 30 whitelist spots left. They will be given either on Discord through contest or on Twitter, and maybe also we have the giveaway today with you guys and the other AMAs. So if you are still looking for a whitelist, it's possible, but we don't have a lot of spot left.
okay, awesome. I just invited Whisper up here to speak. Whisper,
Hi,
you
Whisper.
there?
Yes, I'm here. Hi.
Awesome.
Hi.
Thanks for the EMA. I've just one question, and that's I've read on your webpage that I should hold on to the pre-sale tokens,
Yeah.
so that the ones who hold on to it are the first one to get other Hextech components.
Yeah.
I wanted to ask, how many tokens should I buy in pre-sale? Is there a limit, and is it really limited to like the whitelist and the public pre-sale, and then this fair launch event is excluded, or is it also included, or how exactly are the terms on this?
That's a good question. So yes, we are indeed going to give early access to those that hold the Hextech tokens through the pre-sale until the protocol launch. So basically, if you buy Hextech tokens in the pre-sale, you will be able, if you hold onto them, so you don't sell them, to buy into the first wave of NFTs. So the first wave is going to be around $50, while the last wave is going to be around $200 for an NFT. So I feel like that's something that's interesting. We don't have a cap on how many tokens you have to have. You just have to buy the minimum amount, and you will be whitelisted to the first wave. Since we have 7,000 NFTs per wave, I feel like there's no point on making people buy a huge amount of tokens, because 7,000 is a lot, and yeah, it's just to make sure that if you are if you hodl your tokens, you will be able to buy into the first wave.
So basically, it's just enough to participate in the public pre-sale at least.
Yeah.
Then, like at least for some tokens, some reasonable amount, and then that's it.
Yeah. So you just have to buy the minimum. So the minimum is 0.01 WETH. So
Okay.
once you do that, yeah, if you buy the minimum amount, you will be whitelisted if you hold your token.
Well, that sounds great. That was all.
Yeah.
Thanks.
No worries. Thank you.
Okay, Gexem, did you want to say something? You're currently muted.
Oh, sure. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Yep.
Hi.
All right. Thanks for the AMA, man. It's pretty late out here for my country here.
Okay.
I just want to ask one question. Hold on. Okay, so my question is, since you mentioned earlier that more Hextech tokens would equal to more gemstones, and more of these gemstones also equals to more rewards for bonders and also higher interest rates and higher APYs, right? So
Yeah,
do you see a potential issue with any whales buying in so that they are able to increase their rates even more? Or is there like a cap to it? And this goes for the same as well for the NFT. So how do you counter this?
So that's a good question because it's kind of hard to understand how the gemstone systems work. But basically, if a whale comes in and buys token, you have a set default rate weight of your token. So it doesn't matter if you stake, like for example, 100,000 Hextech tokens or 10 millions. The weight of your tokens are going to be the same because you don't have like any NFTs or anything. So no matter how much token you're going to stake or to bond on the protocol, it won't impact the interest rates of others. The only way that is going to impact the interest rates of others is if you stake for a longer time. So if you stake for longer, for example, the max time is 15 years. If you stake for 15 years, you will receive more gemstones than you should normally receive. And that makes it so you have higher interest rates. Or if you hold the first NFT component, if you hold it, that's called multiply. If you hold this, you will receive 5 to I think 20 or 10 to 40% more gemstones, and that also makes it so the interest rate is higher. And these are the only way where you can influence your weight on the protocol. It doesn't matter if your whale comes in and like stake 10 million tokens or 100 million tokens, as long as basically what I'm saying is it will matter the same as if someone staked 100,000 tokens, for example.
Okay, thank you for the answer.
No worries. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, I invited someone else up, but he didn't accept.
Okay, then I'll...
Remy.
I think I'll read a couple of questions from the text chat as well.
Yeah, thank you.
So Yubuki asks that what is your main branding image to the general public? Is it the Hex Fork or something completely new with NFTs?
So we are branding ourselves as the first certificate of deposit coupled with NFT utilities on the Polygon network. So we are not branding ourselves as a Hex Fork. We are branding ourselves as a certificate of deposit with NFTs, basically.
Okay, so D-Apps asks, the value of marketplace comes from its user. How will you get a critical mass of users on the NFT marketplace such that people have an incentive to trade?
That's a good question. So yeah, definitely. I think the value of a marketplace comes from the community, but also comes from the marketplace itself. Because if a marketplace is easy to use and have a lot of functionalities, it will make sense to use it compared to others. And that's one of the ways to make sure that people use the marketplace. And another one is just like to have lower fees. We all know that OpenSea has fees on the marketplace, and that's an issue with it. So that's another solution. And yeah, so we still have to discuss all the details of the NFT marketplace. But we will make sure that the marketplace on Polygon makes sense. There's not a lot of marketplace on Polygon yet. There's a few that are going to launch soon, but competition I think is a good thing. So I feel like because we are the Hextech project and we have a protocol behind, making a marketplace can only benefit the token, since we will already have a user base, so they will know about the project and they will know about the marketplace coming out. So that's a huge advantage, actually.
Okay, thank you for your answer. Nori will ask. Will tell the question for Remy.
Yeah, so Remy was trying to get on here to talk,
Yeah,
but he
okay.
couldn't get his mic to work out. So his question was, how will the ETH used to pay for the Hextech tokens be used by the protocol team? Will there be some sort of treasury management?
Yeah, that's a good question. So I think I'm gonna answer in two parts. So first of all, there's the pre-sale. You can take a look at that in the white paper. It's written there, but just to summarize quickly, we are going to use most of the token to create a liquidity for the fair launch. So if I remember correctly, I think it's 66% of the tokens that are going to be used for the fair launch. So all the ETH, 66% of the ETH we receive will directly be reused in the liquidity. So that's one of the main way we're going to use the ETH. And then there's going to be I think, yeah, it was 60%, and then there's 15% for the marketing wallet and 25% for the team wallet. So we have vesting on those wallets to make sure that we don't use these as soon as the project is out. So for the Hextech tokens, the vesting is going to be for the marketing wallet. Every month, we're going to unlock 25% of the Hextech that we have. And initially, we're going to have 25% that's going to be unlocked. And we're actually going to use these tokens as an airdrop. So we are creating the rules behind the scene right now, and we're going to announce it either tomorrow or the day after. And that's, I think, a $25,000 airdrop that we're going to do on during when the fair launch happens. And for the team wallet, the tokens are going to be locked for 3 months, and then 25% are going to be unlocked every month. Someone actually argued with that in our Discord yesterday, and said that this was too short of a vesting process. But actually, when the protocol is going to launch, right now we only have 4% of the Hextech tokens as a team. But when the protocol is going to launch, because of the inflation, is going to be diluted. And when the final vesting happens in 7 months, we won't have a lot of tokens compared to what the total supply is going to be. So I don't think that's a big issue. There's a lot of teams out there that give themselves like maybe 15 or 30 or maybe even 50% of the total supply. So we only have 4. So I think that's pretty conservative. And so for the ETH also, we have something called the merchant. So as I said earlier, it's the auction-based system where most of you guys are going to buy your Hextech tokens when the certificate of deposit launch. And I feel like this is going to be an interesting protocol and something great. So when you buy through the merchant, every day we're going to create 1 million Hextech tokens that people are going to be able to buy. So if you want to participate in the merchant, you just have to give WETH in the protocol, and you will share amongst all the investors that day you're part of the 1 million tokens based on how much you invested. And out of all these WETH, for example, if we received $100,000 worth of ETH that day, 85% are going to be given back to the investors through the grand lottery. So as I said before, if you participate through the merchant, you can win back your investment every day. So basically what it means is if you invest $2,000 in the protocol, you can win back $2,000 every day through the grand lottery. So that comes from the 85% of the WETH that we redistribute to the investors. And then we're going to give 5% to the liquidity. So we're going to use 2.5% to buy back Hextech tokens, and 2.5 to pair it with the Hextech tokens. So essentially every day we're putting 5% of the invested amount into the liquidity by buybacks. And then we have a few percent, so it's 2 to 6% for the referrals. So if you refer friends, you can win back 2 to 6% of their investment. And the rest goes to either the marketing wallet, the team wallet, or the dev wallet. I hope that's clear.
Awesome. Yeah, thank you. There was a question I was looking at. It was asked early on. Hold on, let me find it again. Well, basically it was, the time periods that you're talking about
Yep.
for your project are a little bit longer, and as I'm sure you're well aware, people in cryptocurrency have an attention span of about 5 seconds. So do you have any plans? Is your plan more to capture stuff sort of like what Anchor Protocol is doing, where they're trying to act like a bank and people just park money there and forget about it? Or are you looking for, to capture maybe a little bit more of this new DeFi money? And then, in either case, what are you going to be doing to try to help keep people engaged?
Yeah. I think we're actually going to do both of the things you said, and on top of that, capture the NFT investors. So there's a few ways we're going to do it. That's true that we are targeting the people that just want to park money in a protocol and forget about it for a few years. That's the main way you're going to use Hextech, and I'm going to explain why it makes sense to do so, especially because of the grand lottery. Because if you participate in the project early during the emission phase, so the emission phase is 365 days. So during these 365 days, there's going to be the merchant, and we're going to sell 1 million tokens every day. If you participate during the emission phase, you will be able to win the lottery. And if you win the lottery, you in fact have recouped your initial investment. So if you have recouped your initial investment, it's way easier to just leave your money in the protocol and see where the protocol goes in a few years. We have a good roadmap, and we feel like we're going to do great things with the Hextech project. So if you do have recouped your initial investment, as I said, it's easier to just leave the money there and see where the protocol goes. So that's why we feel like we can target these people, because it's just easier to forget about the money when you already have made money from the certificate of deposit. And then we are indeed going to target the people in DeFi, because it's something that it's kind of a gamble, in the fact that you are not sure you're going to win the lottery, but it's a gamified way of winning money, and on top of that, you do earn interest through the protocol. So I feel like DeFi people in DeFi in general love to have a gamble, and if you want to gamble, the Hextech project is perfect at that for that. And also the NFT scene, because we are going to launch NFT collections, and it's pretty rare nowadays to see NFTs that have a utility. Most of the collections out there are just an NFT with an artwork, and then they try to build the community on top of that. But the NFT itself doesn't have any utility. So
Becoming more common though.
yeah,
Chicken and stuff
it
like
does.
that.
Yeah, it's true. But yeah, so we are indeed trying to do that, to make sure that we don't just build something that has no utility, because it wouldn't really make sense. Yeah.
Excellent. That makes sense. Forgive me if this was answered before and
Yeah.
I missed it. So you're talking about minting 1,000 or a million tokens a day for 365 days.
Yeah.
What happens after 365 days? How are you going to get people to get into the system again?
Yeah. So basically, we have this emission phase, 1 million tokens every day, and we have a system in place where the inflation rate, I'm looking for the word, diminish every. We have a sorry.
Problem.
So we have a system where if, for example, you reach 1 billion tokens, the inflation is divided by 2. And then if you reach 2.5 billion, it's also divided by 2, etc., etc., until we reach around 10 billion tokens. And then the inflation rate of the Hextech tokens comes down to 10% every year. So that's pretty much in line with the other tokens out there, other blockchain, etc. And so once the emission phase ends, the only way for you to buy the tokens will be through the secondary market, so through Uniswap. We're going to launch on Uniswap. And basically, the emission phase is just to control the price during the first year, because when people are going to buy tokens through the merchant, they are indeed going to fix a price based on how much USD was invested that day. So, for example, if there's 100,000 USD in the pool that day, and we sell a million tokens, the price of the of one Hextech tokens would be 0.1.
Yeah, I think we lost you there. Or did you finish talking? Oh, I think we lost you.
Yeah, I think he disconnected.
Yeah.
Is high.
Oh, there we go.
People are going to have to buy through the DEX because it makes more sense. And so that's one of the mechanisms we have to prevent price dumping during the first year. And then when the first year ends, the protocol goes on, and by that point, we should have built enough to make sure that the Hextech tokens has utility within the ecosystem. So this emission phase is just to give us some time to build the ecosystem, basically.
And those million tokens a day you're selling, I would assume that a portion of that goes to also build the liquidity for the token.
Yeah. So as I said, there's 1 million tokens, and 5% every day goes toward the liquidity. So there's
Gotcha.
a buyback and the liquidity that's added every day.
Okay, awesome.
And also concerning the liquidity, we are going to have the NFT sale, and 50% of that is also going into the liquidity. So it's also a buyback and a liquidity event. So if you invest in an NFT, 50% goes toward the liquidity. So because we are trying to sell, I think it's $3 million USD, $3 million of worth of NFTs. If we do sell out the NFTs, basically there's going to be a 750,000 buyback of Hextech tokens. So that's also an incentive to hold your tokens, because a 750,000 buybacks is going to make the price go up.
Yeah, definitely. That's awesome. I don't know if anyone else has any other questions, or if Indies or Checkmate have something they want to add. If not, I think we're pretty close to out of time.
Mm.
Indy, Checkmate?
Yeah, I just have one question. Will NFT have rarity level? For example, some gives more bonus than the others.
Yeah, of course. So once again, if you want to deep dive into this, it's explained in the white paper. But there's going to be 4 rarity levels for each component. So we have 7 components, 7 NFTs, and each have 4 rarity levels. So it's going to be common, rare, epic, and legendary. And we have everything that's explained in the white paper. But basically, as the rarity goes up, the power of the NFT goes up too. So just an example with the interest rate. If you have a common NFT that gives you more interest on the protocol, so give you more gemstones, you are going to receive 10% more gemstones with the first common rarity, and you are going to receive 40% more gemstone with the last one that's legendary. So yeah, everything is the same. Every rarity has a higher power in the protocol.
Wow, that is a very interesting gamify mechanics.
Yeah, definitely.
Thank you. That would be all for me.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. I have one question from you, Book. I think this is an interesting one that people may want
Okay.
to know. What do you choose to did an AMA here? Consider that most of us are interested in home fork.
Why did I choose to do an MA here? That's the question.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good question. So the first reason is because I asked in my Discord if anybody had any recommendations on community we should do MA with, and the only Olympians were the name that came back all the time. So it was a recommendation from the community. And when I discovered the Olympians Discord, I saw that you guys were mainly home forks. But what interested me particularly is the fact that you in this were doing a code review, and the only community I know that does this is Rockduck for farms. And so I thought it was interesting that someone was doing this for home forks, and I don't see why that's what Rockduck is doing now. They try to expand towards like NFTs and tokens and etc. And I don't see why the Olympians wouldn't be open to doing something with the Hex Fork. So I just asked you guys if a partnership was possible, and that's how we are here today.
Oh, interesting origin, and thank you for the compliment.
Thank you.
Okay. Does anyone have a question? If not, we're going to end the stage.
No, I think I got all mine. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me, and thank you for building this community.
Yeah, it's grown like crazy.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
So just to say it again, we have our whitelisted pre-sale launch on the 25th, and our public pre-sale on the 26th. So we have created an event on our Discord. If you want to just click on interested on that, you can do it to be reminded of them when they come. Thank you everyone for coming.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thanks everyone. Goodbye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.